Now to that historic third criminal indictment for former President Donald Trump.
This time it is for his alleged attempts to stay in office after the 2020 election. So we want to get right over to John Shumway with what you need to know about the charges and also the reaction that's rolling into rolling in about this morning.
Yeah,
Good morning.
pretty interesting reaction. Good morning. You know, the president, former president, will be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow afternoon for an appearance in federal court after a federal grand jury indicted him on felony charges, accusing him of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Now, he is facing 4 new felony charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States, obstruction of an official proceeding, and a civil rights era law that makes it a crime to oppress, threaten, or intimidate a person of their free exercise or enjoyment of any right in the Constitution. Again, that dates all the way back to the Civil War. Now, in his brief remarks, Special Counsel Jack Smith called the deadly insurrection on the U.S. Capitol an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy.
It was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
Now, as you might expect, reaction is pouring in not only from the former president and his opponents, also in the 2020 Republican primary. The former president questioned the timing of the charges on Truth Social, saying in part, "They wanted it right in the middle of my campaign," end quote. At his 2024 election campaign, called the indictment election interference. His former vice president, Mike Pence, and 2024 rival, says the indictment, quote, serves as an important reminder anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States, end quote. And we should note, Pence gave testimony before this grand jury and is expected to be the star witness for the government. Chris Christie, who has been an outspoken critic of Trump, said that he brought shame to his presidency with his actions following the election. But on the other end of the spectrum, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis slammed the indictment, saying, quote, "One of the reasons our country is in decline is the politicization of the rule of law." And of course, this is only the first part of the legal trouble the former president is facing right now. Anytime now, he could be indicted in Georgia for his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election there. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will be presenting her case to a grand jury in the coming weeks. And he's already facing dozens of federal criminal charges in Florida over his handling of sensitive documents. And Manhattan's district attorney has charged him in the hush money case. And there is the timing in all this. It's yet to be seen exactly what's going to happen, but it's very likely that the case that just was handed down yesterday in Washington could end up being the first one going to trial. And how all this plays out in the election cycle, yet to be seen.
Well, yeah, how do you run for president with such huge distractions on your time? Like that alone, dealing with that, I mean, it's a big thing.
It is a big thing, and it's one of the arguments that the former president is making.
Absolutely.
And as a result, trying to delay everything to get past the election.
Right. Something we'll be watching every step of the way, that's for sure. John, thanks.